got a reputation to uphold.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at 10 notable games that suddenly disappeared from storefronts in 2024. Hope you were able to grab these before they were delisted. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Sonic Generations. Since its release way back in 2011, Sonic Generations was only commercially available on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. It was also on the Nintendo 3DS before that platform's storefront was closed back in 2023. However, things changed drastically for the title in 2024 after Sega announced a remastered version, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. A little over a month before the remaster's release, Sega delisted Sonic Generations from Windows, Steam, and Xbox's storefronts. Although with Steam it isn't completely delisted, you can still acquire the game, albeit through a bundle that includes almost every single Sonic game available on Steam. So there's your loophole if you didn't buy it a la carte before the delisting. DC Dual Force. In case you didn't hear about this game, and we wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, DC Dual Force was Warner Bros. And DC's answer to Marvel's Snap. It was a card game where you played different DC heroes and villains, each with their own abilities to help you dominate the board. But there was one rule that DC forgot about here. You gotta keep it simple.
Make sure to attack with Captain before ending your turn. If you
Take that, you jerks!
What makes Marvel's Snap so appealing is how you can jump in and out of a match within a few short minutes and play a game with rules that are so easy to understand, it's comical. DC Dual Force is slow, monotonous, and overly complicated with its rules and abilities. Trust me, I played through the tutorial, it took forever. It makes every turn feel like a slog with not a lot happening. Had players been given more unique actions to take on their turn, the pacing could have been forgiven. DC Dual Force didn't even last a year before it was shut down in February 2024.
Phew, I'm glad that's over with.
Spec Ops The Line.
Fuck, this place is crawling with soldiers!
Hit them while they're in the open! Don't let them breach cover!
Heads up, shotgun, coming for us!
At the very start of 2024, folks were already freaking out about delistings, primarily because Spec Ops The Line was one of the very first games to be delisted. Well, at least in 2024. But you get what we're saying. This installment in the Spec Ops franchise has long and often been regarded as one of the best shooter games ever made, with its compelling narrative and dark subject matter, as well as the stellar performance by famed voice actor Nolan North.
Reinforcements will be here any second. We need to keep moving.
But Walker, you're not even...
I'm gonna make these bastards pay for what they've done. Now, are you with me or not?
Unfortunately, Spec Ops The Line was delisted in January 2024 due to expired licensing agreements, those licenses most likely involving copyrighted music. Publisher 2K has yet to clarify the exact reason why this delisting occurred, but here's hoping the silence leads to either a sudden relisting or perhaps a remaster of some kind.
Don't bother. He's guarded. You'll never reach him.
Our problem, not yours.
Forza Horizon 4.
You and the Marines had better be there soon. Cortana, I can't follow you through there.
Delistings are no stranger to the Forza games, as New Horizons and Motorsport installments come in and licenses for older titles are left to expire shortly after new releases are out. The renowned Xbox One title Forza Horizon 4 was a victim of this cycle last year.
Aborting pickup. Sorry, Cortana. I gotta shake these bogeys.
Affirmative, Kilo Actual. I'll scan for a new LZ.
In June 2024, Microsoft announced that it was removing the game's DLC immediately, and the base game would only be available for purchase until December 15. On top of that, Microsoft sent out free codes to Game Pass users, former and current at the time, who played Forza Horizon 4, allowing them to forever access the game even after the delisting. Within its 6-year lifespan, Forza Horizon 4 managed to amass more than 24 million players. Those sales numbers are still unknown at the time of this video.
We're not gonna make it! Pilot, this would be a very good time to leave.
The Crew. The Crew was another racing title that fell victim to the vicious cycle of delistings. Ubisoft made the announcement in December 2023 and told players the closure was due to, quote, upcoming server infrastructure and licensing constraints, end quote. Much like Forza Horizon 4, The Crew and its sequels are loaded with cars from real manufacturers, as well as tons of copyrighted music. Racing games like The Crew are always delisted for either one of these two reasons, sometimes both. It's why you don't see Project Gotham Racing commercially available or any of the previous Gran Turismo games on sale anymore. That information didn't stop some folks from raising hell about the closure. The Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest were review bombed relentlessly, and France's General Directorate of Competition Consumption and Repression of Frauds received floods of complaints. One interesting note about this whole situation, according to the stats on SteamDB, after July 2018 all the way until the delisting in March 2024, The Crew only ever reached an average of 117.4 players. 6 years, 68 months, and only an average of 117 people were playing The Crew. Do with that information as you will. Samurai Jack, Battle Through Time. Throughout 2024, a handful of small developers were sweating as Warner Bros. Spent so much time trying to delist games published under Adult Swim Games, for whatever reason. Some were saved with new publishers, while others were not so lucky. Samurai Jack Battle Through Time was among the unlucky ones. Though it wasn't the smash hit we were hoping for, Battle Through Time was still excellent with its combat mechanics, character animations, and faithfulness to the show. Unfortunately, Jack's time came to an end and the game was delisted suddenly on December 23rd, 2024. Unsurprisingly, resellers have now jacked up their prices for physical copies of the game. Defiant. Ubisoft threw another one of their games under the bus in 2024, but this time it wasn't an ancient online game. No, this one had just been released. Defiant received a somewhat positive, yet still lukewarm reception when it launched in May 2024. Players overall thought it was decent, but still needed more time in the oven with its odd level geometry and technical issues.
You're up, hotshot. Keep a cool head. Everything's bounty.
Sadly, a longer lifespan just wasn't in the cards for Defiant, because after a few months of rumors were floating around about the game's closure, Ubisoft made its decision in December 2024. Effective immediately, the game would be delisted from all storefronts and would not be accepting new players. Pre-existing players could enjoy the game until servers were pulled in June 2025.
Mission accomplished.
Little Big Planet 3.
But I'm afraid Bunkum's destiny lies in our hands. Let me explain.
With the first two games already been lost to time a few years back, it was only a matter of time until Little Big Planet 3 would see its head on the chopping block. Sure enough, Sony made the announcement in October 2024. After October 31st, Little Big Planet 3 and all of its DLC would be removed from the PlayStation Store. According to the sales data leaked from the Insomniac data breach in late 2023, Little Big Planet 3 managed to sell more than 5 million units within the decade it spent on the market. While resellers haven't marked up their prices to an absurd degree just yet, we all know they will as time marches on.
And to Stitchem Manor we go!
Concord. Sackboy wasn't the only Sony character to get a kick in the pants in 2024. In fact, the entire cast of Concord was shoved out the door the second they walked in. When the game launched in late August 2024, nobody was interested in this game. Not hero shooter fans, not FPS players, not even the Sony ponies. Absolutely nobody from any community had any interest in this game whatsoever. Sales and player count were so abysmal that Sony removed the game from sale without warning a mere 11 days after launch. Servers were shut down 2 days later, resellers scrambled as physical copies were pulled from store shelves or straight up thrown in the trash. For a time, resellers did think this erasure of PlayStation history would suddenly go for hundreds or thousands of dollars, despite the disc being completely useless now. Unsurprisingly, no one was buying into the same hype collectors were. What was thought to be a solid car payment's worth is now fetching for about 20 to 30 bucks now, roughly $10 less than the initial sale price.
I enjoy revenge!
And lastly, various Xbox 360 games. While this is an umbrella entry we don't typically do on most lists, we'd be remiss to not include the biggest loss of 2024, the Xbox 360 storefront. Unlike the Nintendo eShop and the proposed PS3 and Vita storefront shutdowns, nobody seemed to care much about the Xbox 360 store getting unplugged. A big part of this possibly leads to the fact that many notable 360 games are backwards compatible on Xbox One and Series XS. Regardless, Microsoft announced not just the closure, but also waves of deep discounts on dozens of 360 games that would go until the closure in July 2024. You could have gotten Darkstalkers Resurrection for $1.50, Prototype for $5, Bulletstorm for only a couple of dollars. And that was just a small taste of the steep price cuts that were available. Here's hoping you grabbed a few more titles one last time beforehand.
I'm coming for you, Serrano!
You ain't worth any last words.
Were you able to snag yourself a copy of these games before they evaporated into the digital ether? Let us know down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great videos every day.
We were helping.
What? Oh no.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.